Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of Jack's Business Talk. Today, we have Cody with us. Cody, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Jack. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm from the Northeast Wisconsin area, up in Appleton, Wisconsin. I've been investing now for 4 years. So, kind of how everything started was I was talking with my wife for a while, and we decided to house hack to try to move the needle to start our journey. And so we started back in 2020, buying our first house hack, and kind of went from there. Um, so yeah, over the last 4 years, we went from just living in a single family house to now having, I guess it'll be 17 units. We got a couple things going on, but yeah, kind of after everything settles, we'll be at 17 units.
So, or a big question I always hear all the time is how do you get the money for deposits or your down payment? So, how did you manage to get 17 units in such a small amount of time?
So we used a variety of methods. So the first one being is house hacking. So you only need to bring, 3.5 to 10% down, depending on what type of loan you use. So on our first one, we did 5%. So we house hacked 4 times now in 4 years. So it's like every year we move, and so those down payments have been anywhere from 3.5% to 10%. And then on the other stuff, I have used seller financing as well. And so for that, you don't have to have the traditional 20% down either. I've been able to negotiate anywhere from $5,000 down to 10% down for those deals.
You want to talk a little bit more about the seller financing? That seems to be a big topic lately, and how you can.
Yeah. Yeah, I've actually bought 8 buildings on seller financing, or at least a version of it, whether it's um, the entire amount or using it as a second position loan. So um, I definitely like that thought process, and it allows you to uh, buy properties a little easier than having the traditional 20% down and that kind of stuff. So I do like it a lot. You just got to connect with sellers, whether it's through knowing someone, whether it's through Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or anything like that. You just got to find those motivated sellers. I know some people like mailing, but I haven't done any of that yet. I've been able to just kind of find it organically through like Craigslist or family, friends, that kind of stuff. And that's how I've been able to grow and buy those deals. And then just discuss with the seller, and see if it's an option for them. Typically, you'd want a property paid off, and then that way you can, um, get a seller financing note for the whole thing. What I found is if they do have a mortgage, you can use like the 50-40-10 strategy to have them take a second and then use that 50% the lender's taking on to pay off their loan. So I've thought done a couple times, and that seemed to help out a lot too.
Okay, that's very helpful. Um, so you want to talk a little bit more about your experience with house hacking? Do you enjoy doing that, or is it just something that you did out of necessity?
Um, so originally it was out of necessity. We lived in a single family house for 3 years, and then I've always wanted to get into real estate, and then I figured this was the best way to do it. And then we've also had some student loans, that kind of stuff, that we needed to lower our expenses, and the best way to do that is rid of your biggest expense, which is your housing expense. So um, we sold our house, moved in an apartment, used those funds to buy the first property, and then the next year, after we were there a year, we moved again. And we did that kind of 4 times in a row, like right around the year mark. Um, and I like it on the balance sheet. Sometimes it's hard to have um, neighbors like that, with your walls attached. But overall, I really like it, and we don't do any like room by room house hacking or anything like that. We just have side by side duplexes, so you get like the same size you would for a house. So the current place we live is 3 bed, 2 bath, 2 car garage. big backyard, like all that kind of stuff that you would have for a normal house. We just have a shared wall. That's the only difference. So it's essentially living in a single family house, but we just have we're touching someone else's door. So not a big deal at all.
Yeah, has sound transfer been an issue? I know a few times with a couple of my units, sound transfer was an issue. And what I ended up doing to compensate for that was I would stick all the closets on the shared wall just to kind of create a buffer.
Typically, it hasn't been an issue. We've only had it one time where we had pretty noisy tenants next door, and that was because the crazier additional things like playing music at 1 a.m., that kind of stuff
Hmm.
when we had young kids. So most of the time it hasn't been an issue at all. It was only, one out of the 4 tenants was, it was a little bit tougher with the loud music and that kind of stuff. But we worked through that, and we don't, we've moved out since then too. And that previous tenant has moved out too. So it worked out, in the long run. But yeah, that was, one issue that we did have, but overall not a big deal.
Yeah, I know I had a problem with that with one of my rentals, and sorry, there's a hair in my mouth. Um, I had a problem with that with one of my rentals where someone was playing music, and it wasn't obnoxiously loud, but it was because all the vents were connected. So for the furnace, it would come out and go straight up and basically make a jump, go straight back the whole length of the house, make a left at the wall, and then come back and hit all the other rooms, and it would blow down and up at the same time, and it was an up down duplex. So pretty much if there's a vent, if you're on the basement looking, if you looked at it just right, you could actually see the vent through the vent in the ceiling upstairs. So it was just a. I'm going to end up redoing that place just once. These tenants that are there now, they all get along, they all party together, they all have a good old time together. So I'm not too worried. But I think once I have a chance and if there's a vacancy where the whole place is vacant again, I might go ahead and just I'm going to keep the furnace and the duct work. I think I'm going to have the furnace go for the upstairs because it's bigger, but then do like old guy Frank with old guy REI said and get some what do they call them, in wall furnaces for the basement apartment.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Split it out that way so you don't have to worry about it.
Well, that way I can finally split the gas and get the gas payments on my name too.
Right. Right. Yeah. Definitely agree.
So you've owned businesses too, correct?
Yeah, I owned a laundromat for about a year, not even quite a year, for like 6 to 9 months. Decided that it wasn't the right thing for me anymore. So kind of the rationale there. I was just looking to create an income stream, but I just wasn't a good fit for that business. I think long term, if I ever decided to get back into business, it would be needed something where I would quit my W-2 to do, or kind of have a manager in place to handle the day to day. That was kind of you're trying to manage it, as you're working a W-2. Just it didn't work out, and so that's the one thing I've kind of learned from that.
Yeah, I learned that or a similar experience. I had a similar experience with trying to run a landscaping business with a W-2 job. I thought it was perfect because I was working night shift, but trying to get back to the shop, get everything geared up and ready to go, scrape the grass out of the decks before everyone came in, got everything gassed up, got the cans filled up, got the trailers all ready to go, all hooked up to the trucks. I mean, that part wasn't hard, but it was finding time to keep the book straight. It was hard to keep employees because no one wants to, especially in the past few years that we've had here near Pittsburgh. It, the summers are absolutely hot, hot for Pittsburgh. So like
Right.
90 to 100 degrees with high humidity. No one wants to be outside. So are you a Packers fan?
Oh yeah, definitely a diehard Packers fan. We got season tickets in our family.
Oh, that's cool. What's your stadium called again? I always forget.
Lambeau Field.
Lambeau Field. That's right.
Yep.
I
Everyone's
don't know
got to
why I
go at
always
least once. I always say
I don't know
it's
why I
a
always
different
forget.
atmosphere for sure.
You know what's sad is I've been in Pittsburgh my whole life. I've never even been to a Steelers game.
Oh really? Yeah, you got to
Yeah,
go at least once.
I should go. I should go once just so I can experience it. I'm more of a
Yep.
hockey fan, so I'll go to like 2, 3 hockey games a year, or even like a Pirates fan.
Gotcha. Yeah,
I
and
enjoy
that's
good.
something we don't have a hockey team. Wisconsin doesn't have a hockey team, so it's hard to share allegiances with either the Wild or the Blackhawks. So I kind of know no man's land here, so I kind of stick to football.
I'm trying to remember. Wasn't I'll have to Google it later. I was trying to remember why they named it Lambeau Field. I know he was a player, but I just can't remember why.
Oh, Curly Lambeau was who it is named after. I don't know all the history behind it, but he played like in the 30s and 40s, something like that. I want to say that might be off, but yeah, he was what it's named after. So that was kind of the initial, like when the Packers first started. I think he was a player and a coach, and kind of like the original. Uh, I can't remember 1930s, 1940s, something like that. Would be my guess. I'd have to look it up myself too.
Yeah, I know he was a Leatherhead player. Are you planning on going to
No
the
worries.
Las Vegas? Are you planning on going to the Las Vegas events?
Yes, I plan on going once the tickets come out.
Yeah,
Um,
I think everyone's
so yeah,
excited to
my plan
go.
is to go. We went last year. Yeah, yeah, I went last year. It was awesome. Highly recommend everyone going. So we had a blast. That's for sure.
Yeah, I didn't get to go to one last year, but I'm looking forward to going to one this year. I think me and Cynthia are going to go out a few days ahead of time, do a little bit of Las Vegas stuff 2 days before, 2 days after. I think what I wanted to do is one of the things one big things I want to do is see Penn and Teller, and there's some trails I was going to go hike, some shorter ones out in the desert and stuff. And I saw that there's a tour bus that will take you from somewhere in Las Vegas all the way up to the Hoover Dam, and there's some trails up there you can go walk around and come back, and they'll shuttle you back.
Yeah, I was considered doing that last year, and then by the time I got there, I just wanted to kind of hang out and talk with Mikey and Frank and everybody, and um, I just I was planning on doing different things like that, some sightseeing, but in the end, it was kind of like I want to kind of meet everybody, and we had a lot of fun, for the 4 or 5 days we were there. So I kind of ran out of time to do anything like that.
Yeah, that's kind of why I want to show up extra early, like before everyone, because how my schedule works, think it's I work that weekend, so I'll be off the 2 days prior and 2 days after. I'm thinking about taking off the 2 days before or the 2 days before the 2 days I'm off. Also think
Nice.
about going out. I'm thinking about going out that weekend so I can try and spend a few days because I love museums. I'll go to a couple museums, maybe go do those trails, and then that way, come Wednesday or so, every all you guys should be showing up and we can all hang out and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'll probably get in Wednesday or Thursday. Haven't decided yet. Nothing's booked or anything like that. But
Yeah,
this is like a good idea to kind of get your bearings. Make it into more of a trip too. So that's kind
I
of what
originally
I'm to do. So
originally I was going to drive out there, and Cynthia was all on board. She's like, "Yeah, yeah, we can leave early. We'll go camping along the way." I was like, "It's in February." She's like, "We're flying."
yeah, definitely flying. I'm not driving the 20 hours it takes to get there from Wisconsin either. So yeah, we usually use travel points for for flights and hotels and stuff like that. So usually don't mind too much of the airplane, flying and everything. So try to manage that a little bit.
Have you put any thought into how many rentals you think you're going to end up needing in order to retire?
Um, so I don't have like a end date or how many rentals I want to get to. I know, like, I'm just trying to get to the point of being financially independent. To at least trying to get to the point of getting to the same amount as my current job, and that's probably the main or first goal. I don't know how many rental units it'll take. With cash flow wise is hit or miss sometimes. Especially in the first 5 years, your cash flow can be wildly vary. For the first couple of years, but as we get a little bit further, so I'll be entering my fifth year coming September. So we're kind of hopefully starting to get across where we can start getting more consistent income from it. So hopefully that'll be the case coming up. But yeah, we don't have an exact target, but I guess that's our first one would be, just kind of get to that 5,000 a month goal. Will probably be, and I don't have a doors amount. There's not, hey, get to 20 units and stop.
Yeah.
It's probably get to that income goal and then see what do we want to do from there. How much we want to grow it, how much do we want to enjoy life at that point. Kind of decide from there.
Yeah, I think that's kind of me and Cynthia's goal is just to get to where we're financially independent because neither one of us want to stop necessarily working. We just want to stop doing what we're doing. We want to, at that point, switch things up, go part time, and do things that either mean something to us or just do something that's fun for us.
Yeah, definitely agree. Have something different or change of pace. Kind of live a little bit differently than you have been. Not relying on that job is such a huge mindset shift, which is what I'm looking forward to. Even if I keep working and that kind of thing, if just not having to is a big mindset shift, I think.
Um, there is one more thing I'm going to ask you, which is going to be if people want to get a hold of you, how should they get a hold of you? Do you want people to get a hold of you?
So I would say probably the easiest way to do it would just be Cody Evers on Facebook. I don't really have um, like much for social media or like a specific name. Just myself, Cody Evers on Facebook would probably be the best way to do it.
Okay, and I'll put a text thing on the screen so everyone can get the spelling right. And
Sounds good.
until next time, thank you for tuning in for Jack's Business Talk.